It's 18:30 GMT. Welcome to MX24 News Live, coming to you from the Silicon Square here at East Legon. My name is Godwin Nambo. Three big stories tonight. Now, #data must fall has been trending on Twitter since morning as Ghanaians complain about the high cost of mobile data and poor services, even after communication services tax has been reduced. Is it a matter? We'll dissect the issues and get some answers from the duty bearers. Also coming up, cyberbullying is fast becoming a subculture as the world goes digital. Now tonight on the news, we'll be joined by some victims, a psychologist and digital media expert, to give us a holistic understanding of the causes and effects of the phenomenon. Also coming up today is Global Hand Washing Day. Are Ghanaians still observing hand washing and other COVID-19 safety protocols strictly? We have a report on that later in the news. All these and more coming up in the next 16 minutes. My friend Mahi Franz-Forjo is standing by with some more details. You're looking beautiful, Mary.
Thank you very much.
What's going on today?
So today in the news, we know #data must have been trending all day. I stand corrected, but I think that's the first time it's gone on for almost 24 hours.
Yes.
People are.
And it's topping the charts. It's been topping the charts this morning.
It is. It's beat NSAS now. It's beat NSWAT. So I think that's quite interesting.
Let's hope to get some results today after the news.
We hope so. So let's get our first story now. The Chamber of Telecommunications has added its voice to demand by some Ghanaians for a decrement in data charges. The Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber, Kenneth Ashibe, says he is of the view that the communications service tax should be scrapped altogether.
You have consumers asking for a reduction in cost. And for us as industry as well, it's one of the things that we all are also pushing for. And the interesting thing is that the government reduced CST by 400 percentage points, so from 9% to 5%. So definitely that resulted in a reduction in the cost of data. Our argument as industry is that this is just a tax on only communication. Our push is that it should come to zero.
Let's do some politics now, where Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang, running mate to NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama, has dismissed suggestions that her limited knowledge of the economy will negatively impact the future of the NDC government. According to her, being an economist is different from understanding the bread and butter issues of the country. Speaking in a yet-to-be-aired interview on 21 Minutes with KKB, the former UCC Vice-Chancellor stressed that her literature background will not impede her work as Vice Chairman and as a chairperson of the Economic Management Team when the NDC is voted into power.
You're an expert in the field of literature.
Being an economist, I think, is different from understanding and living the economy. Okay? We all participate in the economy, but we are not all economists. Today, if you go to the University of Cape Coast, you have bottled water with our logo on it. And I'm extremely proud of it.
That was your initiative?
Yes, because you see, that is contributing to the economy. Yeah, I don't know the pie charts and the percentages, but I knew we didn't have enough. And I knew we could do something about our situation.
Okay. So, granted, and some would say fantastic intervention there, but running a country, being the chairman of the economic management team, some would say it's at a whole new different level.
And I have said that let us run the profiles of all the vice presidents who have come into this country. How many of them have been economists? Do your homework.
Not all.
Yeah. So why is it that when it comes to Nana, it has to be this? And in any case, when the economists are in charge, what happens? And when the non-economists are in charge, what happens?
But the point is, the situation we had some years back is totally different from what we have now. Particularly now, when the country is not performing as well as it should, perhaps due to COVID.
And yet we have an economist in charge.
Of course.
And you are telling me we are not performing. No, let me complete it for you.
Go ahead.
That we are not performing as well as we should, and we have an economist in charge.
We were projected.
So you are panicking.
No, the government was, so the projection was that the country was going to grow at a certain margin. Then COVID hit, and all of those projections were thrown into the dustbin. Now, this is an election year. Next year, which is 2021, most likely whoever wins the elections will have a tough job, at least in the first, say, 1 or 2 years, to bring the economy back on track.
Now to some rather unfortunate news. The final funeral rites of the late Infantsman Member of Parliament, Eko Kwanzaa Hayford, has been slated for November 28, 2020. This was announced at the one-week memorial service held for the late MP at Kesim School Park, AstroTurf Grounds at Mahim in the Central Region, which saw in attendance hundreds of people, including some New Patriotic Party stalwarts. Among other persons who attended the ceremony include the Vice President of the Republic and some NDC stalwarts. The 50-year-old MP was shot dead by some unknown assailants at the Abiaze Domnase Abiaze Duaze Mankasim Road while returning from a campaign on Friday, October 9, 2020. 2 persons have so far been arrested in connection with the murder of the MP. The suspects were picked up by police investigators from the Central Region Police Command, who have since last Friday been working tirelessly to apprehend the culprits of the murderous act. Moving on, today is Global Hand Washing Day, a worldwide advocacy day dedicated to increasing awareness and importance of hand washing with soap. The theme for the day is hand hygiene for all. The COVID-19 pandemic was a reminder that one of the most effective ways to stop the spread of the virus is through hand washing with soap. But with the current decline in Ghana's COVID-19 cases, are people still observing hand washing and other COVID-19 safety protocols? My colleague MX24 has more in this report.
Hand Washing Day. The aim of this campaign, as the name suggests, is to promote the habit of hand washing and let people wash their hands more frequently. But now, the case or the habit of hand washing is gradually declining, and people are attributing it to the decline in Ghana's COVID-19 cases. But let's speak to a number of market people, those patronizing the market and everybody around to find out why exactly they are no more washing their hands. And if they do so, why?
The way the government is talking, that means that there's no more coronavirus. We are coming to remove this thing here because there's no more coronavirus. Because we are sending cars back to the government. The cars, when we are using for coronavirus, we are sending it back to the government.
So this is a Veronica bucket at the Medina station, but there's no water in it. It's empty, it's dusty, nobody has used it. And I'm going to speak to the station manager to find out why exactly there's no water, there's nobody patronizing it, it's just empty. So please, why is there no water in it?
We used to fill the Veronica bucket with water for passengers, but when they come and we instruct them to wash their hands, they refuse with the excuse that they've already sanitized their hands.
God protects us. Even if we don't wash our hands, nothing would happen. Without washing my hand, I can even eat kinky. How frequently do people patronize this before they get into the pharmacy, or those passerbys, how frequently do they patronize it?
For us here, it's mandatory. So before you enter the pharmacy, we have someone here to direct you to wash your hand before you enter. So
I intentionally entered and nobody asked me to wash my hand.
The guy here, I think he wasn't around when you entered. If he was, okay, then sometimes they overlook things. Yeah, that one is also possible. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but you are also a pharmacist. What will you tell people who hand washing is not just about COVID-19, you know? Tell us the importance of hand washing very briefly.
Okay, so it's very good to wash your hand using the sanitizer and the soap. Generally, it's really good to reduce your flora. As day in, day out, you get to meet people, you touch inanimate surface, and so you get bacteria and other microbes on your hands.
You've had the market women, you've had, and now the station leaders, you've had a number of them, and generally they believe that COVID-19 is over, and so there's no need to wash their hands. So the practice and habit of washing hand is declining in various aspects, markets, shops, and all of that. But just as the pharmacist said, hand washing is not just about COVID-19, it has various importance. Make sure to wash your hand because today is hand washing day. For MX24, I am MX24.
That's my colleague MFR Chichi with that report. Now, Godwin, before you bring us all the detailed analysis of the day's top stories, are you also washing your hand with
hand sanitizer? I guess I have to start washing my hands with hand sanitizer.
You probably should.
Very, very important.
You probably should.
And you know, it's sad that it almost seems as if this COVID-19 that we so were scared about has suddenly disappeared into thin air. What happened?
I mean, I think because the death rates are coming down, people are not paying so much attention.
Right.
But I think we shouldn't get complacent. You never know. If we have a second wave, and that could be it.
We pray not.
We pray not.
We pray not.
We pray not.
Thank you very much, Mahi. Now, when we return from the break, we'll be delving straight into our stories, our three main stories for tonight. Also, business, sports, and entertainment coming up. Stay with us.
Breakfast good day, every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
They say it's the little things that count. The things we shouldn't take for granted. Like being able to have a warm shower. Oh, how about some tea, my dear? And cooking with ease. How about being able to invite friends over so confidently? Sharing the food, just chilling over a few drinks, watching movies. It's just, what's the word? Comfortable. I could go on and on and on and on, but we both know what I'm driving at. It's life's affordable luxuries, and it's the heartbeat of every home. It's simple. It's YNASCO. Bring home happiness.
They'll go with the 4-4-2 diamond formation for that early lead.
An early goal will settle the nerves.
Their away team has been in bad form. They will feel the pressure.
The home sides kept 2 clean sheets in a row.
It's all about momentum.
Who will have the stamina to last the 90 minutes?
Their star striker is suspended.
They've got no kappa.
The marking will be tight.
This will be won or lost in the midfield.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet. Betway, for the love of the game.
Opinions are like onions. Everybody has one.
Abortion is a no-no. As a human being, you must take responsibility for all your actions and inactions. Your misjudgment shouldn't be enough grounds to take a life.
No. I disagree with you because look, if you do not legalize it, people will go to quack doctors anyway who might end up not just kill the baby but the mother as well.
Why should I waste my time joining a long queue under the hot sun to vote for a political party, knowing very well that nothing would be achieved at the end of the day?
Something will be achieved. It's your civic responsibility to turn out to vote. Vote and vote for a good leader.
Governments need to cater to every graduate, diversify the economy, invest in other sectors.
But the government cannot do it all. That is why we need the youth to take up the mantle and set up their own businesses. That is how we will create economic viability.
Here on Opposing Views, we take your views, my views, and the views of the experts and put them in the right context for you, our discerning viewers.
Welcome back to MX24 News, coming to you live from the Silicon Square here in East Legon. MX24 News is your home of fun, fearless, and factual news. Now, hashtag Data Must Fall has been trending the whole day today on Twitter. The message is clear. Ghanaians are complaining that mobile data prices are still high and services are even poorer after communications service tax was reduced from 9 to 5%. Now, the 2020 Global Data Prices Report from UK-based global internet research company, Cable, indicate that Ghana has the 6th lowest average data rate in Africa, which is good, and 34th lowest in the world. That is $0.98 per 1 gigabyte. Ghana used to have the 3rd lowest rate on the continent, but it has obviously moved 3 steps down the ladder, which means prices have gone higher and Ghanaians are not enthused by it. Before we delve into the conversation of high data rates and the trending hashtag on Twitter, let's see what some customers of the various telcos have been saying on Twitter. Marie has got some slides for us. Marie.
Yes, I do. And it's not just Twitter that's been buzzing with commentary on data must fall. We have commentary all across the social media platforms. So let's see some of them. This is from Facebook. Abla Akpenezon, who says, very expensive. You bundle for a month and it lasts for just a week. And this is from NS Kojo, who says, cost too much. An adjustment must be looked at. Most things done lately is with the help of data. And this is on Twitter. You can see it with the meme. It says, this from @ChristTheKing. It says, you buy 10 CDs data, 10 minutes later of logging into Twitter. This is MTN Vodafone, clearly sucking all your data. And this is from Ike Reborn. He said, this at MTN Ghana, when you need 10 Ghana CDs to even get less than 1 gigabyte, which will not even last 3 hours, whilst minimum wage in Ghana is 11.82 Ghana CDs. Do the rest of the calculations and see why the average Ghanaian can't save. That's an interesting point he's making over there. And this is from @CorrosiveRules. He says, the amount of money I spend on data every year can construct all the rough roads in my neighborhood. Damn it, this data must fall agenda should not be a one-day trend, which has been the case over the years. It happens and then we leave it at that. And this is from @Emmanuel Oyiti. He says, please, this hashtag data must fall agenda shouldn't be a one-day thing, though, unless we see results. And this is from @King of Accra, renowned music producer, adding his voice, of course. He said, MTN data, they cost too much. So this is what people have been saying on social media.
MTN data, they cost too much. This agenda must agenda.
Yeah, it has to.
It must agenda. Marie, earlier on, I was speaking with some students on the University of Professional Studies Accra campus today. Let's check the video out.
Last year, the government increased CST from 6 to 9%. And when you remember, if you buy even a scratch card, if you buy for 10 CDs, I think you're just giving about 7.78 CDs when you buy a scratch card. But government said because of coronavirus, they've reduced the CST from 9 to 5%, meaning that now you even have to get more when you buy a 10 CD scratch card. Is that the case for you guys?
Okay, so pertaining to the bundle offer I use *141#.
*141#, that's for MTN.
Yeah, and there's an offer they give for 1 gig for 3 days. That's 5 CDs. Yeah, for now they've added some maybe 1-point-something megabytes, 1-point-something gig. But at first it was 1 gig, exactly 1 gig. But now they've added some. I don't know whether, but it runs though.
Annette, do you think data is expensive in Ghana?
Yes. Why? Because why? Because I still use MTN, but they can buy 5 CDs and then like within 30 minutes it's done. So I switched to Vodafone. But when I use the *1110 hash code, and then I buy 3 CDs, 1.5 gig, within an hour, it's done.
I also buy from the Vodafone Cash Bundle. So anytime I purchase the 1.5 gig, as my sister said, within some few hours, then the data will be exhausted. Yeah, data bundle here in Ghana is really expensive. It's really expensive.
So those were some students from the University of Professional Studies Accra talking to me about this hashtag data must fall trend on Twitter. I also have in the studio joining me is Yao Boabeng, who is also a data consumer. Yeah, welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much.
First of all, I want to ask you what network you use, but you know what, for the sake of our viewers, we're not going to ask you what network you use. But on the average, Yao, let me ask you, how much do you spend on data? But before that, what is your opinion on what's going on with hashtag data must fall?
I think that it's an agenda that we must keep up so that until we see results in the change of the prices and how fast our data bundles run, it's not something that we are supposed to let go of. Because looking at the amount of money you get to spend on data bundles for, let's say, in a week is quite absurd. You get it? Because, for instance, you take out 10 cedis, which can fetch you maybe some balls of kinky and then fish, and then you go to buy data and then you only get about 900 megabytes for 10 cedis. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
So how much do you think, in your estimation, how much do you think 1 gig of data should cost? How much would you like to spend on 1 gig of data?
Maximum should be, I would like to spend a maximum of 2 cedis.
I realized you're going to say 2 Ghana cedis.
Yes.
So you're going to spend 2 Ghana cedis on 1 gig of data. Why?
Because looking at how fast it runs, because I mean, if assuming I buy the 2 cedis, which is giving me a 1 gigabyte of data, I'm not sure it can even last me throughout the day. Because looking at how I keep talking about how fast the data runs, because I mean, you buy the data, you open a social platform, and then in less than 30 minutes you start getting notifications that you've used 70% and all of those things.
You know, and that reminds me, now, one of the telcos keep telling us that this data bundle does not expire. But we find out that every time it's expiring too and you can't use it. But I'll come back to you. We have Apiedu Mensah on the line joining us, who is also a data consumer. Apiedu, can you hear me? Hello, Apiedu. Apiedu, can you hear me? Hello? All right, we seem to be having some technical challenge in reaching Apiedu on the line. But I still have Yao Babing in the studio. So, Yao, you agree with this hashtag data must fall?
Yes, the data must really fall.
I'll put you on the line. To you, what's the best data bundle in Ghana among the 5 main telcos?
As in the service provider that...
In terms of data cost.
In terms of data cost.
Which is more affordable to you?
At this point, I would say Vodafone.
Vodafone is more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and looking at how their data bundles run, I mean, relatively, it's quite affordable.
I think we have Apiedu on the line now joining us. Apiedu. Hello? Apiedu, can you hear me? I'm still having some technical. Apiedu, can you hear me? Apiedu? Asiedu?
Hello?
Asiedu, can you hear me, please?
Yes, please.
Okay, Asiedu, good evening and welcome to MX24 News. We are discussing hashtag data must fall. And if you can weigh in your own opinion on it, what can you tell us? Are you with this agenda?
Yes, please. I am 100%.
Tell me why.
So the data is like you are really suffering because it's like expensive. When you calculate like the amount of data you buy within a month, it's more than paying for a bill or whatever. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. Like I don't know how to do this, but it's too much.
So buying data is too much for you. On the average, how much data do you buy in a week?
I think 50 CDs.
You buy 50 CDs?
Because of what I do online, more data to be online. So within that range, 50 to 80 CDs. Yes, that's what I buy.
Asiedu, lastly, what do you want the government to do, or what do you want the telcos to do, really?
So I just want them to reduce all the network. And I use MTN. It's not. I don't compete completely. I really but them to try and reduce it to our level or try and make some improvements. If we are paying much for the data, they should give us some of the packages that will favor us because some of the packages are,
Right. Thank you, Asiedu, for joining us on the line. We are discussing hashtag data must fall. That has been trending on Twitter and, in fact, on social media the whole of today. Ghanaians are calling for a reduction in data prices. They say they can't bear it. I still have Yao Boabing in the studio. Yao, lastly, tell me, what do you want the government or the telcos to do?
So at a point, there was a CST bill that caused them to increase their prices, and at a point it was taken off or partially absorbed, and then they had to reduce the prices. And according to them, they did reduce the prices, but I'm sure some Ghanaians will bear with me that we are not feeling it. We are not feeling that reduction in the cost of data that we buy. Because, I mean, some of the offers that we even used to get are not even available anymore. And then the ones,
give me examples.
Okay, so for example, I used to get this offer from Vodafone where I pay 5 cedis, 50 pesos for 5 gig.
For 5 gig?
Yes, which used to last for 4 days. Okay, so that was the offer. And then right from the partial lockdown, I stopped receiving that offer. So I tweeted at them on, and then they reached out to me saying that it's a technical problem which will be resolved and all of that. Okay. I realized it got resolved just last week, and then that particular package stopped appearing on my phone. And then the ones that keeps coming, so they will tell you 20.7 gig for 60 Ghana cedis. And I mean,
but you know, here's a free tip for you. You know, Vodafone has on Vodafone Cash they have special offers.
Yes.
Do you bundle those ones?
Yes, I'm being forced to bundle those ones.
So you put your money, into your Vodafone Cash so you can buy some data.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Yao Boabing, for speaking with us.
Thank you.
And that is Yao Boabing, who is a data subscriber or a data consumer in Ghana. We are discussing data cost in Ghana. Ghanaians are complaining, and the trend hashtag data must fall has been trending all over social media today. As Marie read a few comments, I think the very interesting one for me will be the guy who says that if he calculates the amount of data he uses in a week, he probably could be an independent financier of roads in his area. So hashtag data must fall is trending. We have some data on the screen for you. CST increase, and we'll be discussing the communication services tax pretty shortly. And joining me in the studio is my boss. He's the head of news here at MX24 News and a multiple award-winning telecoms journalist, Samuel Dona. Samuel, thank you for joining us.
Chief, Ade.
Today you're in the other seat. Sam,
yes.
The thing behind this whole conversation, this high cost of data conversation, has to do with the CST.
Yep.
And some people seem to have this difficult understanding it. Please break it down for us. What is the CST and how does it affect us? How does it work?
Okay, so here's the deal. If you check the data that we put, that we put on the board, it's beyond CST though. Prior to CST, we were paying taxes on our telecom service that we receive to the government. We were paying VAT of 12.5%. We were paying National Health Insurance Levy 2.5%, Get Fund Levy 2.5%. Okay, so that's the loan is about 17.5%. Then in 2008, the government thought that we need to pay another service charge. Okay, so
aside what we were paying, which is the 0.78.
I mean, yeah. So no, we're paying 17.5%. If you tabulate all the 12.5, 2.5, 2.5, it's 17.5%.
Right.
So that's what we're paying.
Okay.
Okay. So it means that if you bought 1 cedi worth of data, you are not consuming the entire 1 cedi because the telcos would have to deduct.
That's 17.5
right. And pay to the government. Okay, the government thought that we need another tax, which is the CST, and that one is also an event on the consumer.
Right.
Okay, so that was 6%. So you see the law that's Act 754 clearly stated that this is meant for the consumer to pay, and the rate is 6%. Okay, so this was 2008,
yeah, when the law was passed.
Then 2013, the government came back again and said the telcos have been earning what you call interconnect rate. So then if I made a call from MTN to Vodafone, for instance, MTN is supposed to pay Vodafone a certain amount because a call from MTN terminated on Vodafone.
Okay.
So that amount also, government said that they are going to charge another 6% on it. Now the confusion is that the law clearly says that the tax is meant to be paid by consumers.
Consumers, not the telcos.
The telcos.
Yeah.
So if the interconnect rate, if you are charging tax on interconnect rate, then assumption is that the telco on which the call is terminating, so that in this case Vodafone is also charging their customer for receiving a call. But we all know in this country that no telco charges any money
for receiving
calls.
Yeah.
So on what basis are they charging a consumer tax on an interconnect rate?
Right.
That is another argument altogether. But then the one that affects us. So you realize that so now this new government comes in, and they added an additional 3%,
which became 9%.
To become last year to become 9%. Okay. And now the telcos, prior to we going to this 9%, the telcos made it clear to everybody in this country that they were absorbing the 6% on our behalf. So they were supposed to take all this money, 17.5% of all these taxes, and then an additional 6%. Now they said because they felt the 70% was a burden on us, they were absorbing the 6%.
That's the telcos.
That's the telcos on our behalf. But then
we're still paying the 17.5%.
We're paying also the 17.5%. We're paying
and the telcos were bearing the 6%.
6% on our behalf. That is what they said. Now when the thing went to 9%, they didn't bear. They then passed all the 9% onto us to pay. Now, so the question is, if you were bearing 6%, you were absorbing 6%, and an additional 3% has been added onto it. If you feel it's a burden, then you should be charging us 3%.
Right.
Do you understand?
Right.
But they passed all the entire 9%
onto us.
Right. I mean, that's why they said that when two elephants fight, the grass that suffers. So government and telcos are fighting, then we are suffering. So, okay, so now government comes and says because of COVID-19, let's go back
reducing it to 5%.
Now remember, 5% is lower than 6%. So now that it has come to 5%, shouldn't the telcos go back and then absorb it again, because they were absorbing 6%? So shouldn't they absorb the 5%? But they are not.
But telcos are not absorbing.
They are not absorbing.
So at this point, the fight
that's why we are suffering now.
So is the fight against? So now the fight, should it be against the telcos or government? Because government has done its bit.
Well, at the end of the day, by law, it is meant for the consumer to pay. Okay, so in that sense, you say you are holding government. That why are they burdening us with more taxes?
Right.
But on the basis that the telco said they were absorbing the 6% for us, and now the thing is down to 5%.
Quite.
Again, you hold them. Why are they not absorbing it?
Absorbing from us. Well, quite an interesting conversation we are having here. Hashtag data must fall. But thank you very much, Samuel Dorona. Samuel Dorona is the head of news here at MX24, and he joined us to have the conversation. We are moving on now. A recent cyber attack on actress and television host Sally Gali Fiawu has revived the conversation around what we can call electronic harassment or cyberbullying. Now, cyberbullying is the phenomenon where people are targeted and embarrassed on social media platforms through the posting and sharing of negative, harmful, or mean content about them. In Ghana, cyberbullying has not been considered much of an issue due to perhaps underreporting until recently, when some victims began speaking out. When we think of cyberbullying in Ghana, we can think of names like Raftown Records signees, the late Ebony Rains and Wendy Shea, who have suffered attacks based on either what they choose to wear or their looks. Now, the same can be said for 4 media personalities in the country who were named by iWatch Africa as the most abused persons in Ghana online in the first quarter of 2020. Now, the names were GH1 TV host Sewa Amihere, former media journalist Bridget Otu, undercover investigative journalist Anas, I beg your pardon, another investigative journalist and author Manasseh Azuri, and a former journalist with City FM, Naana Jane Opoku-Agyemang, just to name a few. Now, Marie, briefly, what do you make of this? You saw the comments, the fan, I'm not sure if she's a fan, but she passed about Sally Gali. It was rather disturbing, disturbing.
I saw that. I think that was quite unfortunate. I think there's people are finding it hard to draw the line between freedom of speech and, inconveniencing someone. Some of the things that people go about saying it's absolutely needless, but I mean, once you have a phone and data, they go ahead to say what they like. I think what we can do is to make sure, I'm sure there are laws that exist to check these things. Maybe those laws should be enforced and, you know, some deterrent measures taken so people can, you know, just behave themselves on it.
Right. We'll be speaking with the right people to see what measures can be taken concerning cyberbullying. But while some people are able to handle cyberbullying, others simply cannot and go to the extent of taking their own lives. A case in point is Nigerian entrepreneur named Legend Izu Madubueze, who allegedly committed suicide after being accused of rape and bullied by a Twitter influencer. So we want to have a conversation and look at what goes in the mind of the bully, what impact their actions have on the victims, and whether there is any protection in law for the victim. We'll have some experts joining us to delve into the matter. By joining us in the studio, not in the studio, we'll be making some calls to some people to have this particular discussion. What do you make of cyberbullying? Have you ever been bullied before? Let us know. Share those comments with us on our social media handles at MX24GH on Twitter and on Facebook. We'll be going straight to the phone to speak with Sandra Ampofu, who is a victim of cyberbullying. Hello, Sandra. All right, so whilst we are trying to get in touch with Sandra, here is a video of Sandra.
My name is Sandra Ampofu. And in the past few months, I was all over social media after a makeover I had went viral for the wrong reasons. Bloggers made mockery of my image, my person, and my soul. The said picture was for a birthday shoot, which turned into my worst nightmare. American rapper Snoop Dogg posted the said image. It attracted thousands of hate comments and derogatory speech. Before this incident, I lived a simple life. When all of this took off, I became overwhelmed with emotions, the psychological trauma, sleeping one night as a simple human being and waking up a global ridicule, and the subject of one of the biggest cyberbullying events in the world. I wanted to end it all, but purpose kept me here. My message is simple. My beauty is not defined by what I have on or don't have on. It is not defined by your standard of what it ought to be. I am not your object or slave. It is not defined by color, not social status. It is defined by my inherent value and what I deem beautiful to me. I will raise my head high wherever I go because of my pride. My pride as a woman of substance. My pride as an African woman, and nobody will take that away from me. I am a victim of cyberbullying, and today I join hands with millions of women and even men all over the world to condemn all acts of cyberbullying and internet trolling. I also say to the millions of women all over the world, darling, you are beautiful and powerful and graced with an amazing aura. You are a queen. Take it from one who has been called ugly in every other language. You are beautiful by your own definition. Be comfortable in your skin, with or without makeup. Glow, queen, glow. At the critical point where I wanted to end my life, I reached out to a man I had followed religiously on the internet. For some reason, I knew he would fight for me and get me some justice. But instead, he gave me wisdom, hope. He guided my path to rediscovering why I am here and how this situation could be a whole new voice, a voice for millions all over the world. To the man, the myth, and the spirits, Freedom Jacob Caesar, also known as Nana Kwame, you are my hero. Say no to cyberbullying and say a bigger no to setting a standard of beauty for women around the world. Let's join hands and stop cyberbullying.
Thank you very much for staying with us. That was a video of Sandra Ampofu, a beautiful young woman who suffered a humiliating, embarrassing, cyberbullying on the internet after American rapper Snoop Dogg shared a picture of her. Now we have Dr. Emmanuel Champon, who is a psychologist, on the line. He'll be speaking with us as we try to get into the mind of cyberbullies. We also have Madam Audrey also on the line, who will be speaking with us. But first of all, I'd like to ask Dr. Champon. Good evening, Dr. Champon.
So, Godwin, good evening. The name is Asampon. Asampon.
Forgive me, sir. Asampon.
Sure.
Sorry for missing your name. Now, Doc, simply call you Doc for now. Doc, I want to quickly quote Dr. John DeGamo. He said something, and I want to ask you something. He said, because cyberbullies can see the effects of their words, they use less restraint. Because cyberbullies can't see the effect of their words, they use less restraint than they would in face-to-face situations. This emotional and physical detachment allows them to harass others in some cases without truly realizing they've become a bully. So it means that sometimes these cyberbullies don't even know that they are bullying a person. Before you answer this question, what qualifies as a cyberbully?
Right, so we are typically looking at, using these, if you like, new digital avenues, to, as it were, send across messages or information that really do not inure to the benefit of the receiver. There are typical examples could be, WhatsApp platform, all these platforms that we know. And like I said, it's usually something that you are putting across. The receiver is not happy about that. The receiver feels threatened by that. The receiver tends to fear, all kinds of things that happen. And I guess that perhaps we, in our part of the world, have not turned our minds to that. But because, again, the world generally is becoming a global village, what it means is that regardless of where somebody is, messages could be sent across. And that's the more reason why we also should be looking at it. And I must say that it is something that happens in our part of the world. There are instances where children have complained, and in fact, in more recent times, due to the COVID-19, where most parents were forced to provide phones for their children. I've encountered a few instances where some of the children, have had not too pleasant messages from their friends. And if it is coming from friends, these are friends that they attend the same school with, sometimes more like wanting them to do certain things that they don't want to do. And if you don't do, then it's more like threats. You tend to receive threats. And so typically what we are expecting is for these children to have fear, they will have anxiety, and for example, if it is like a school setting and they will have to go to school, there is so much fear that some of them may even absent themselves. And if that really is not checked, what it means is that then these children, if we are not careful, will drop out of school. And sometimes it's difficult to know exactly what is happening because, again, they have been threatened that, look, if this thing gets out there. And so sometimes you ask them and they are unwilling to mention exactly, where their fears are coming from. And that's the reason why we need to pay attention.
Dr. Zaba, so, Doc, quickly, what really goes through the mind of a bully, a cyberbully to be specific? What really makes people, try to hurt somebody online, especially people they don't know?
Right. So for some people, I'm sure they will just be doing it for the fun of it, and then over time it becomes part of them, and so this is something that they are doing, and they think that it is a normal thing for them. Mostly because perhaps the person at the other end is also not complaining. There are others who really make up their minds that, look, they are going to hurt people online. They are going to use, these digital avenues to, as it were, really frustrate people. And so in as much as we will have those who would want to do it for fun, it becomes part of them, and something that they have a difficulty stopping. And then for those who intentionally would want to do something like that, that's something that is purpose. And if you look at these two ways, what it means is that at the end of the day, the one who started it off as fun ends up, having learned something that, well, if you are able to do this thing, then this is the kind of results you are achieving out there. The other person who purposes to do that, again, depending on the reaction that comes, is like, well, I'm achieving my objective. So whichever way it is, what we are saying is that it is not something that goes to the benefit of the person who is receiving it. And that's the more reason why I think that it would be appropriate that we have laws that will deal with some of these.
Speaking of laws, Doc, we have Madame Audrey Meriku, who is a cybersecurity expert on the line. We'll be asking her those questions. Madame, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you for joining us on MX24 News. Madam, what are the opportunities available for victims of cyberbullying? Is there any law regulating cyberbullying in Ghana?
When it comes to the law, Ghana has all the laws. We have Act 29 of 1960, which criminalizes harassment, criminalizes the threat of harm, the threat of death. And we also have Act 772 of the Electronic Transaction Act, Section 123, which says any offense under law which is committed in whole or in part by the use of electronic medium and in any electronic form is deemed to have committed under that act. The provision of that act shall apply with the necessary modification to the person who commits the offense. Basically, what it means is that the conventional crimes that we know, Act 772 converts all those offenses and say if they are being committed online, they should also be equal to the crimes committed in the conventional way. So we do have crimes that cover.
Most importantly, Madam Audrey Meriku, how does a person report a cybercrime? Who do you call? Who do you talk to?
October 1st, 2019, the Minister for Communication launched cybercrime, cybersecurity incident reporting points of contact. And these were carefully selected for children, the general public, whether literate or illiterate, businesses, and the government.
Wow.
You can call 292 to report from any network, across all networks. It's called 292. You will reach out to the National Cybersecurity Center. You can also send a WhatsApp message to 050-160-3111 for those who are tech savvy. You can also download the National Cybersecurity Center app from Google Play Store or Apple Store. It's an NCSC Ghana app.
Right.
When you go in there, there's a form that you can complete and you can report cyberbullying.
Beautiful.
You can also send a text message to 292, or you can send an email to report@cybersecurity.gov.gh.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much, Madam Audrey, for talking to us. Madam Audrey is a cyber security expert. And thank you very much, Dr. Sampon, for also talking to us on that cyberbullying topic. When we return from the break, business is up next.
I'm tired of you trying to get rid of me every chance that you get.
My car is in the trash.
I've worked very hard to get you, Francis, and you know that.
Because I don't deserve you. I didn't think you could handle it.
Sleeping with another man in my bed and you're telling me it's not your fault.
Pray I'll never need your services.
A perfect world where love doesn't blind all truth.
I'm getting married this weekend.
Touch me. Don't you ever touch me. See you. Have your way with me. You use me as usual. Do you have a... Hey!
Are they connected?
Welcome back to MX24 News Live. Business is up next with Kwabena Ameyaw. Over to you, boss.
You're still watching MS24 News. It's time for business. My name is Kwabena Ameyaw. Now to our first story. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, has called for a more sustainable and people-centered approach to economic recovery post-COVID-19. According to Dr. Addison, shockwaves from the COVID-19 crisis could lead to a lost decade for the world's poorest countries unless they receive urgent financial assistance. He made these remarks during a virtual press briefing at the ongoing International Monetary Fund's yearly meeting.
G20 Debt Service Suspension Initiative has provided temporary suspension of bilateral debt service payments to 43 countries. I am proud to see that the international community has risen to meet this daunting global challenge with global solutions. But this is not yet the moment to look back. The crisis is not over, and the pandemic continues to take a significant toll as more people have slipped into poverty and inequality has worsened, particularly among women and children who have been the hardest hit. The role of the Bretton Woods institutions in galvanizing global attention and support, particularly for the most vulnerable, is commendable, but there is still room to better address the needs of all members. We are facing the prospect of years of poverty reduction and economic progress being reversed by the pandemic. The shock waves from the COVID-19 crisis could lead to a lost decade for the world's poorest countries.
Now let's do some more stories. Ghana International Trade Commission has ruled in favor of Aluex after the company petitioned the commission over unfair trade practices by Chinese competitors. Reacting to the ruling, Executive Secretary of GITC, Frank Ejekum, says the landmark ruling seeks to provide a level playing field in the sector.
We all know that the bane of our development is that most times it's been said, and it's a truism, that industries in countries like ours are unable to thrive. And you set up an industry, and as it's growing, very soon they break down. When they break down, it means that people lose employment, profits are lost, and the government is not able to get the taxes for development as it needs, and so development is retarded. But under WTO regulations, there is a caveat for countries, all countries in the world, to set up such commissions as ours to deal with unfair trade practices, because many a time, the reason why our industries fail is due to unfair trade practices, where products are dumped on our markets. And so they make our markets, our products, uncompetitive. WTO has realized that these are some of the things that go against us. And in dumping here, we talk about, it's a very technical thing we look at, because dumping in this sense means that the product has been imported into Ghana from some country, is being sold at a cheaper rate in Ghana.
That's it for business. My name is Kwabena Ameyaw. News continues with Godwin.
Thank you very much, Kwabena Ameyaw. Up next is sports.
Hi there, my name is Benedict Osu. You're still watching MX24 News, and it's time for sports. Now, former Black Stars captain Asamoah Gyan and his brother Bafo Gyan have been accused of an assault on one Godwin Mate, who is CEO of Websoft Solutions. Now, the incident is said to have occurred at the 37 Army Officers Mess tennis court last night, and according to Godwin, the singles game, which was set up by a mutual friend, took a sour turn when he noticed that all controversial points that were supposed to go in his favor were given to Asamoah Gyan by his brother Bafo Gyan, who acted as the umpire of the game. Now, Godwin, who was an audio recording of the entire incident, plans to sue the Gyan brothers, and both Asamoah Gyan and Bafo have not commented on the alleged incident. And away from Asamoah Gyan and his brother Bafo Gyan, Bernard Mensah, who recently earned a call-up to the Black Stars team, has tested positive for coronavirus after returning to his club side as Besiktas. Now, this was confirmed by his club yesterday after he rejoined them from the Black Stars camp following the announcement. Mensah wrote on Twitter, "Hello everyone," and I quote, "I am fine. I feel good, don't worry, thanks for your support." The midfielder was handed his first Black Stars call-up, as I mentioned, in 3 years for the international friendly games against Mali and Qatar in Turkey. And finally, speaking, they will see how that will go this coming weekend. That's a sports. Up next is entertainment. Don't go away.
No, this is not business as usual. This is a different kind of business. From the global stock market to our central bank to insights on insurance and investment, Spotlight is the show for you. Here, we look beyond the numbers. On Spotlight, we'll tell you the complexity behind the figures. On Spotlight, we examine hardcore financial issues. Join me, Philip Nanfuri, on MX24, together with policymakers and experts as we talk business.
Time for Showbiz now, and I am Emma Fatchichin. Let's now talk about Lydia Forson. You know Lydia Forson is very vocal about politics and governance, and she has reacted to the deployment of 200 policemen to provide security for MPs. She's expressed shock about the speed with which securities for MPs was approved. And she says she's not against the security for MPs, but she expressed concern about how MPs make swift decisions when it is in their self-interest, but for issues of national interest, it takes longer time to get approved. That's by Lydia Forson. But let's move on now to Nigeria. Nollywood actress Chacha Eke has revised her decision to divorce her husband. If you recall, the actress posted a video of herself saying she's done with the marriage to Fanny, but now she says she is still in the marriage. Let's watch her now.
Hello everyone, my name is Chacha Eke and I love my life. As you can see from this video, I am pregnant, and as has been peculiar with my former pregnancies, every time I'm pregnant, something in me just...
Right, you just heard Chacha. She says she's bipolar, and that's why she's acting the way she did. But now let's move on to the 2020 Billboard Music Award. It was a huge success with performance from biggest names in the music industry. BTS came with the dance moves, Alicia Keys with the soul music, Brandy gave us the vocals, John Legend, as usual, gave us the emotional performance for his wife, and other many performances. The award show was kicked off with Billy winning the first award of the 9th Top Billboard 200 album. She also won Top Female Artist, and the twerk queen Cardi B was crowned Top Female Rap Artist of the Year. Kanye bagged the Top Gospel Album with Jesus is King. Yeah, he actually deserves it, because I know we love this Jesus is King. And the biggest winner of the evening is Post Malone. He went home with 9 good awards. Well, that's it for Showbiz. I hope that I get more awards going forward. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Fachichi. Godwin comes next.
Thank you very much, Amafachichi. And we won big at the Music Awards. Kanye West won the Gospel. Yes, President Kanye West won big for the Gospel Album of the Year, Jesus is King. No, what do you think?
You say President Kanye West?
Yes, President Kanye West. We are voting for Kanye West.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for tonight's edition of the news. My name is Godwin Nambo. There's more news on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter at MX24GH. So we'll see you again tomorrow evening. Have a good night.